Hi everyone, I'm Jim and welcome to the review of I Odpuść Nasze Winy, the second studio album by the Polish metal band Frontside. Today we're probably celebrating the 20th anniversary of the record, so I've decided to go back and see if it still holds up or not. My story with this band is quite simple. My siblings were listening to them when I was young. Back then Frontside had an EP released called Początek Nienawiści. It was a split with another band called 1125, I think. I had this on a cassette tape, I still do. I loved that record, so I've been a massive fan of this band since basically the start of this century. And I want to promote their music outside of Poland because this is some really good stuff. The history of this band is actually very interesting. It all started with two members, Aztek, the vocalist, and Demon, the drummer, later turned into guitarist. They've started this band in 1993 in Sosnowiec. At first it was a straight edge hardcore / rapcore band. Like, it sounded like a mix between Rage Against the Machine and Earth Crisis, but not that heavy. They've added some friends into the band, two guitarists, bassists and a DJ, and with this lineup they've recorded 2 demo albums. After that all of those guys left the band except the founding members Aztek and Demon. Demon decided to play on guitar instead of the drums, so they got a new drummer called Destroy, also a new bassist Novak, who's still in the band, and the second guitarist Simon. With this lineup the band released their first EP and first 2 studio albums. After the second album, the founding member Aztek, the vocalist, left the band, and also Simon, the second guitarist. Destroy, on the other hand, left after the third record was completed. So, going back to their sound, when they've released their third demo album in 1997, it wasn't rapcore, it was more like a mix of hardcore and heavy metal music. After that, they've released one song in 1998 called Na Zawsze Hardcore. It's translated into Hardcore Forever. It was a banger, it put them on the map. In 1999 they've recorded like 3 or 4 songs which were later released on their compilation called Korzenie. And finally, in the year 2000, they found their sound. They've decided to mix genres: death metal, thrash metal and hardcore punk. You could say that it's basically deathcore, but it wasn't deathcore. It was much more complicated than that, because it sounded like a mix of Morbid Angel and Sick of It All. It was so weird to listen to. That EP is legendary to me, because it still sounds so fresh and weird. I love Początek Nienawiści. Check it out, you won't regret it. After that they've released their first studio album, Nasze Królestwo, Our is Kingdom, and this one was slightly different. While it still was a mix of death, thrash and hardcore punk music, it also incorporated slight nu metal touch to it. The music still wasn't deathcore. It was a weird blend of styles that just worked, and it was one of a kind. A year later they've released the album we are going to talk about today, I Odpuść Nasze Winy. The production on this one is top-notch. It's clean but raw at the same time. The message is diverse, the songs are mostly about religious topics except one of them, which talks about the hardships of life. Structure-wise the songs are basic except 2 of them, which are more advanced. And musically this is a departure from the previous record, but also almost the same thing. It's very hard to talk about this record because, again, it's a mix of death metal, thrash metal and hardcore punk, but this time the hardcore elements aren't that in your face. Basically this is the other side of the first record. The first record was hardcore mostly and death and thrash metal later. This one is the other way around. I was actually thinking about it the other day. Is this the first deathcore album? Because we don't know when it was released. 2002. It could have been January, it could have been June. I know that there are bands like All Shall Perish and other stuff that was deathcore-ish at the start of the century, but this thing is very weird because it has breakdowns. The breakdowns here are fucking savage, but it's also mostly death metalish. People call this band metalcore / deathcore, and I don't agree with that statement. Sure, nowadays they do play those genres, but back on those first 3 records, this is not deathcore, this is not metalcore, this is something completely different. It's like a deathcore from alternate universe or some shit. This is not some generic shit like the 4th Frontside album Absolutus, which sounded like typical metalcore band, As I Lay Dying, shit like that. It was garbage, but this thing is iconic, it's one of a kind. You're not going to hear another album that sounds like this one. Somebody would have to do it on purpose. He would have to copy this thing and do it again. But no one ever did. It doesn't help that the band is from Poland and the lyrics are in Polish, but they made an English version. They've actually done this to their first 3 records, and it's not great. They basically took the same instrumentals and re-recorded the vocals. They are almost the same as the Polish ones, but not so quite, and they just don't fit the music. I'm not talking about the vocals, I am talking about the pronunciation of stuff. The vocal melodies just don't work in the context of the songs. So again, I urge you to listen to the original Polish versions of these albums. Sure, you're going to understand the English versions, but they are inferior to the originals. It doesn't matter who does this. Fucking Tokyo Hotel, Smash Hit Combo, Turbo, it's always the same. The original is better, the English version sucks ass. I will be reviewing both versions of this record, so I can tell you about the differences in the vocal melodies. Some of the English versions aren't that bad, the other ones are fucking atrocious. It's hard to listen to, believe me. It's also hilarious that you had to wait 2 years for the English version of this record. The first one, which was released in the year 2001, had the English version done the same year, but this thing? Nope. It was released in 2002, the English version in 2004. The same thing happened with the 3rd record, Zmierzch Bogów. It was released in the year 2004, but the English version, Twilight of the Gods, was released in 2006. I also want to point out one thing about the lyrics. This is the last record with the original vocalist Aztek, and the lyrics are religious but in a good way. Like, it's not condemning God or saying that God sucks, it's just very biblical and it sounds like the end of days, this type of stuff. But later Frontside changed their vocalist and he wasn't that much into religious stuff, so it sounds very anti-religious. Here you have songs that, yeah, God exists, stuff like that. But later there are songs about there is no God, God is shit, go away. The same thing happened with the band Il Niño. They had a song called God Save Us on the first record and the vocalist believed in God, and then on the 5th record you had a song God is for the Dead and he was like, fuck God, there is no God, and it was the same vocalist. I was like, wow, this is a change. Anyways, let's just start. Intro is just an intro. In Polish it sounds really good and scary, but in English it sounds like a joke. I don't know why. He's using a different type of voice for the intro, so listen to the Polish one. It sets the mood for the record. There's no music here, but I like it. 7 out of 10. Nie podnoś ręki na stwórcę. Don't raise your hand against the creator, I think is the English title. This song is heavy as fuck. This is how the entire record is going to sound like. Aztek is growling, Destroy is destroying the drums. I mean, I think that Destroy is the best Polish drummer ever. I know that Vader had Doug and Decapitated had Vitek. Rest in peace to both of them, they were great, but Destroy is just on another level. He can blast, he can do some cool grooves like in Korn, it's so weird. He can do it all. And here he's just blast, amazing stuff, his leg work is amazing. The guitarists are killing it as well. Damon and Simon are just on top of their games. This is a heavy fucking song, I love it from beginning to the end. It's not even the best track on the record, it's like the second weakest one. Can you imagine that? They start with almost the weakest song on the record and it's still a fucking masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Początek końca ziemi, extinction of the earth. What a weird translation. Początek końca means the beginning of the end. So couldn't they just call the song that way? This track is more melodic than the previous one, but it still retains the brutality and anger. The vocals are great, especially on the Polish version. Like on the previous song, the differences between the Polish and English version weren't that big, but here there is a big difference. Like Aztek is killing it on the vocals in the Polish version. He's confident, you can feel his growl power, the guitar work is phenomenal, and the drummer is astonishing. This is a perfect song, I love it, especially the chorus here. It has that oniric and atmospheric vibe to it. The lead guitar work is memorable. I think this is a legendary song, but the English version is a travesty. The vocal melodies aren't in time with the music. Fuck that version. The Polish one is 11 out of 10. Oskarżony, The Accused. Now this song is actually great in both versions. Even the English one isn't that bad vocally, but the Polish one is amazing. This is just total destruction. I have to talk about the chorus, which is just them repeating "you are guilty." In Polish it's "jesteś winien", and in Polish it sounds much stronger, like they have more power in their voices, but in the English version it's like "you're accused, you're accused". Listen to the Polish one. I also love the fact that the guitar work in the chorus, that weird corn noise. I love those cornish dissonant melodies, so yeah, this is great stuff. Check this song out. It's fast, it's heavy, it's interesting. 10 out of 10. Płacz upodlonych, Cry of the Debased. Now this is the most melodic song on the record. It actually won a Polish reward called Fryderyk in the year 2004, I think. Fryderyk is like Polish Grammy, I would say, for music. Nobody cares about it these days, but back then it was serious. Like real Grammy. This song has a lot of those Scandinavian melodic death metal vibes when it comes to the guitar riffs. I love the drumming as usual. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this song, and the clean female vocals in the chorus are just beautiful. This is an astonishing journey. I love this song so much. The guitar solo is out of this world. But then we have the English version, and for some reason, again, the vocal melodies are just not in sync with the music, especially the woman. The woman is just bad. Do not listen to the English version. It's going to ruin the song for you. Stick to the original. 10 out of 10. Bóg stworzył szatana, God created Satan is a single with a music video. This one has similar breakdowns to Oskarżony and Początek końca ziemi. It's just savage, straight to the point, brutal stuff. I love this track. 10 out of 10. Krwawy deszcz oczyszczenia, Rain of Purification. It should have been Bloody Rain of Purification, because krwawy means bloody. Anyways, this is the third best song on this record. It has a very monastery vibe at the beginning. It has a sample or some shit. It reminds me of the video game Painkiller, which is also from Poland. It was released in 2004. Great game from People Can Fly. You kill demons in it. Epic shit. And then we have a long intro with lots of growling and screaming. I note that the screams are done by Demon and growls by Aztek. Demon usually does the screaming in this band. Then the main riff starts and it's just so good. It's like a classic death metalish riff that is so evil sounding. I love it. It's one of my favorite riffs of all time. It just goes on and it changes, and then we have verses which are more hardcore-ish, I would say. They kinda sound like breakdown, and then we have an amazing chorus which is just out of this world. What's funny to me is that in the English version they did not re-record the screams, because the screams aren't in any language. As usual, the English version sucks, but the Polish one is amazing. Especially the guitar solo is just beautiful, and that final breakdown here, my god, it's so good. You have to listen to this shit. Even Destroy is killing it with his legs, his double bass work. Amazing stuff. This is a legendary song. 11 out of 10. Wyklęty, Cursed is the weakest track on this record. I love this track, but it's very short. I wish it was longer, but it's probably the most heaviest track. It's the fastest one, lots of blasting, lots of screaming. 8 out of 10. Ulice Nienawiści, Streets of Hate. Now this song sounds like it might have been written for the first record, but it didn't make the cut, so they've released it here. This is the only track, I think, where hardcore is above the death metal influences. This is the song that has those lyrics about tough life and you know, we have tough neighborhood. I'm not afraid of anything. This is a masterpiece. I love this song, but the English version is a travesty. Don't listen to it. The vocal melodies just don't work in that version. But the Polish one is fun to listen to. It's so weird listening to this song because you can actually feel that it has a different vibe from everything else on the record. Yet it still fits somehow. 10 out of 10. Ostatnia Wieczerza, The Last Supper. As usual, the English version is a travesty, but the Polish one, my god. This song has the best breakdown on the record. Destroy is killing it on the drums. That breakdown is so heavy because he has such good beats on the drums, and the guitar riff is easy but so fucking heavy. I love it. The verses are fine, but that chorus is just out of this world, and then we have the bridge, which is more death metalish, and we go back to the chorus, which is just a breakdown. It's my second favorite song here, and I love it. 11 out of 10. And now the final song, it's the title track. This song is the reason why I always listen to the full records without skipping any songs. It might be the best Frontside song actually. The intro to this track is so interesting, there are so many things happening. Destroy is just, I don't even have words to describe his drum work on this song. And the guitarists are even better. I love these guitar riffs. The solo at the beginning sounds very majestic, then we have the vocals, they are great as usual, but the chorus of this song is just amazing. I love that chorus with all of my heart. And then after the second chorus, the song shifts into a long bridge with a long guitar solo, and then they go ambient at the end. It's just such a good way to finish the record. This is the highlight of this record and probably one of my favorite Polish songs ever. 12 out of 10. To sum it all up, the consistency is stable and the flow is ideal. Replayability, yeah, it's a legendary record. I enjoyed it from beginning to the end. It's one of the best Polish metal albums. I urge you to check it out, because I'm 99% sure you haven't listened to it. It's a one-of-a-kind mix of death metal, hardcore punk and thrash metal music that you won't hear anywhere else. And if you do find something similar to it, write a comment so I can check it out. Celebrate the anniversary by spinning this record today. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Listen to the Polish version even if you won't understand a thing, because this is one of those records that lyrics actually don't matter. It's just so good that I actually don't care. They could be singing about Friends sitcom, Chandra, Manika, all of that, and I would still consider it a fucking heavy banger. That's all from me, thank you for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my other reviews. Bye!